Good. We got this, we have the Georgia system here. Tony, can you hear? Can you hear?
Yeah, it's a bit muffled, but I can hear.
Yeah, we can hear, kind of.
What's the V1? Tell Tony that Ron received. Is that better, Tony? Can you hear me now?
Yeah,
That's much better.
Oh, Kevin the Great. I love it.
Yeah, that's me.
All right, so welcome once again. You may notice the room's a little smaller. Like I said when we started, this is actually what we pay for. We've just been really lucky to get both halves. So this is normally what we get. They wanted us to take both sides, which was double the cost. And I'm like, The Dutch in me said nope. So welcome to our club meeting. First things first, just going to welcome Tom. Tom is joining us for the first time. He's Mike's father-in-law. Used to model, might model again. Came just to enjoy the company of other basement dwellers like us. So welcome, welcome, Tom. Thanks for joining us. For national news, there won't be any further updates from me unless we get updates. I've what's the term? I resigned. Yeah, I resigned as president. Just didn't have the bandwidth to keep going on as IPMS Canada president. So I tendered my resignation last month, right after our meeting here. So I'll get regular updates, and I'm still in touch with some of the executives. So when I hear what we have going on, we'll continue to share as we normally have, but no idea. So probably not. It's probably going to be another bloodless coup, which is how they've been running it since '79. So from IPMS Canada, no further news. From me, we have Bill here tonight. So remember, we have our 50-50 draw. We'll have a break before we do our roundtable discussion. We're holding a roundtable tonight. We didn't get a lot of feedback yet on what people wanted to see. There was a request for airbrush demos. That takes a little bit more logistics, but we're hoping to provide another airbrush demo. But as we said last meeting, if there's something you want to see, something the club member is interested in, then just let us know. Send us an email. We'll be more than happy to, with all the knowledge we have within our club, be able to present something throughout the discipline. So just send that forward. Happy to provide you with the show for the club. So outside of that, we're still. Bill's not here. We're still in the early stages of our show for June 7th. The venue we've got, it's here. We started to get sponsorships. Those are starting to show up, which is great. We've got our category list finalized. So I believe I'm taking over Chief Judge this year because Aaron can't do it. We eliminated about 15 to 18 categories that were underrepresented in our last show. Like we had nothing. So we consolidated the vast majority of those, trimmed it down. So automotive was one of the only ones that didn't because we were already pretty much where we wanted to be for that. So that list is posted. So on the IPMS London website, the IPMS London show website, you can get all that information. If you're interested in sponsoring a category, I believe we're still at $25 for a category. And then if you want to do one of the best ofs, I think it's 50. Oh, it's 50 for a category? Okay, 50 for a category.
Category 5, that's category 1.
Yeah, and those will probably go pretty quick. As far as the best ofs, they usually go pretty quick. But if anyone's interested within the club for sponsoring one of those, just go to our website and you'll be able to connect with us and get that, or just reach out to one of us in the executive. We'll get you set up. So, but that's already started. Vendor tables. I think Bill's already sold quite a few vendor tables. I know Devin, you've asked. We have more. We'll probably do pretty well. Until then, upcoming shows. Of course, our first show, sort of in this part of the world, in Ontario, is Heritage Con, which is coming to us on March 23rd on the Sunday. I know a bunch of us are going. I would ask if any members have car space or willing to carpool with a member who may not have transportation. Yes, Kev?
I have a question.
Yes?
I have a friend of mine, Bob, Air Museum, and I just got him back model building. You want to know if he can come?
Anyone can go.
Huh?
Anyone can go to Heritage Con. Yeah, I mean, he's a meth head dirtbag. We don't want him coming, but yeah. Exactly. So, yeah, no, I mean, you don't have to enter. You can just go to attend.
And you want to go and hang out?
Yeah.
Yeah, get back in. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, they want all registrations online. There'll be no registrations at the door for Heritage Con. So if you want to register, you've got to use the online system. The system's different than the previous ones when they use Google Docs. They're now using the system that was created for IPMS Nationals. The Madison guys had created it. So if any of you've been to Nats last year, you'll know what the registration system is like. It's not hard. Yeah, I didn't have an issue with it. So I'll be going. But if any members are attending and you've got empty space in your vehicle, we may have some members that, need a carpool or like to carpool. Just throw us a line. I used to take Bill and a couple other guys. Yeah.
If we had
$10 spot. Any you want. That's going to be interesting because last year, so 2 years ago, Heritage Con had almost 1,200 kits, which they said was too much. And last year they had 884, roughly, I think was the number, which they were happy with. 770? Okay, so if they're allowing an unlimited amount for a flat rate, if you're entering stuff, I'd say go early so you can get in because it'll be pretty packed. Well, vendors sold out the first day in like 4 or 5 hours. Yeah. Well, I mean, they've made traction south of the border. The guys from IPMS Hamilton were very present at nationals. There's been more noise. So we've got more guys from down south starting to show up too. So it'll be better attended than it ever has been. I mean, it was pretty packed. Two years ago, it was, they had to close it because of occupant load requirements. So it'll be a good show. Anyway, that's our next big show. After that, we've got, what else have we got? We got we got our show in June, June 7th, and then there's usually a lull, and then shows start to pick up again in fall. We're not expecting a lot of competition. Wonderfest is a week before ours, but that's not really competition. So, looking forward to that. And remember, we'll need some volunteers on the day of the show. So, hope members to come and give us a hand. Follow up with some mail outs. Outside of that, we had our elections. Oh, me too. Yeah. We were a little tardy with the agenda. This long weekend messed us up a little bit, and the snow and Flag Day and all these things. So, we were going to judge our 1-year build this month. So if anyone, we had changed the rules. Anything you built in 2024, bring it in. To put in for submission. For those of you unfamiliar with our 1-year build, it's our incentive to get someone to build something at least once throughout the year, right? Successfully build a kit. So now we basically opened it up to say just bring something at our first meeting of the year-ish. And then normally what happens is we throw everyone's name into a hat and whoever gets drawn wins. Very democratic. And then we put your name on a plaque and the plaque sits in my basement until next year. Unless you want the plaque, and my wife will be more than happy to get it out of the house. So. If we can do anything to help with your affirmation. The only name missing right now is yours, Peter, because you won last year and I haven't gotten your grave yet. So, if everyone's right, well, I just haven't done it yet. in the basement. Come over, people, and we'll do it ourselves. Yeah. Yeah.
So how many people finished?
Started.
Okay, remember your number.
Remember your number.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, 8.
This always takes a bit of time.
Well, not as much as I'm not volunteer. Wait,
Tony, did you finish one last year?
finish one?
Kevin did.
Kevin did. Kevin the Great, you're 16. Tony said 17. Justin? One? Sure you did, 18. Flappy, 19. Okay, Johnny? 20.
Yeah.
Okay, you guys remember your number. Random number. 120.
Everyone look under your seats, if you've got it.
Who the hell's gonna spam random.org? We had to set up empty box.
It takes long enough.
Really?
Verify it again, sir. You are human.
Website's probably weird.
Yep.
Okay, here we go. 17.
17.
Oh!
That was Kevin. Kevin the Great.
No, I'm 16, I think.
Oh, then it was Tony.
Tony, you won.
Right?
You're muted, Tony. You're muted.
I gotta mail it to Australia.
Yeah, now we got to mail the flag to Australia.
Okay, Tony, can you hear me?
All dues are $40.
Okay, you're muted. Muted.
Yeah, I heard.
Tony,
I can't win. I didn't finish a kit last year.
sorry?
I can't win. I didn't finish a kit last year.
Give it to Kevin.
Now we're running.
Right again. It's 1 to 19.
Number 10.
Who's number 10?
Number 10. Gary. Gary.
Finder man.
Got it.
Yeah, excellent. Put his name on twice. I'm going to use a bigger font just because you did too. Okay.
I don't want to be named Peter in the, oh, by the way. My basement.
Come visit.
Yeah.
All right, and a reminder, dues, club dues are, we still have outstanding members, are due. It's $35 for members, to be a member for the year. Yeah, so, again, that pays basically for the rental, of the room and the insurance costs. That's pretty much what it kind of, and our, gala pizza party in December. So, a night to be remembered. That's about it. So just remember, you can pay electronically or you can pay Jeff direct. And our online members pay $10, I think it is. $10 for online. You skinflint.
That's me.
Yeah, Tony is a full member. Excellent. All right. So we'll do our roundtable, take a little break for the 50-50 draw. And then we'll have our evening's discussion on tools, tips, and stuff that we're using and who's got what better than others. So, yeah.
Product, yeah, and I finally gave it. That's $35. I bought a bunch of this paper.
who's first? You?
So this is,
You don't need this, take it.
no, but okay. This is my nut rocker from Machine and Krieger. Picked it up. That's what it's called. That's what it's called. I tell you, a bunch of children, nut rocker. Why is it green?
Cool, Kurt.
It's your nuts have been rocked. Anyway, I picked this up at Brochdale's. Fairly simple kit, 176 scale, went together in a weekend. Got my Badger airbrushes back from servicing, so that was the first chance I had to try some freehand camouflage. So yeah, I kept it clean, just quick and easy. The only thing I did after this picture was apply some satin coat on it. So there you go. All right. Now we got Tony. Let me find
What are you
his.
building now, Stuart?
In
That was
building
cool,
48 Westland Whirlwind.
Kevin, you had a question?
I just said that looks cool, Stuart.
That's from the award-winning. All right, what's next? Right, yeah, we're gonna build you up and tear you down. Tony, your P-47 is coming up eventually.
Okay.
Stuart. Where's Stuart? No. The IT guy.
Here we go, Tony.
Nope. Look at the screen. Sharing.
I want to get mine. Okay, there you go, Tony. Talk about it.
Okay. You just want me to tell everybody about it. It's a P47D Razorback from the Tamiya 148th kit. The decals, I love nose art, so the decals are from pin-up decals, but I had been dealing with a terrible problem because the lacquer clear that I put over the top of them managed to destroy some of the insignia decals. So I've been busily painting over the top of them with just trying to repair that. But hopefully I'll get it finished in the next month.
Thanks, Tony. All right, who's next?
They didn't laugh at you for calling it Razorback.
What was that?
They didn't laugh at you for for the name of it like mine.
Well, mine's not called a nut rocker.
Mine. All right. So the first one up is it's a 1/35th scale Machine and Krieger Falke. Very similar to what Peter brought last month. Yeah.
Actually, no, I can't.
Come see that. 1/35th scale Falke. I was inspired by Italian camo for their fighter aircraft in North Africa. So that's the paint scheme I went with, just completely made up. Great kit if you're ever interested in doing something like this, if you can find one. Because right now Amazon's got a wait list until December to get one if you're looking there. But wonderful build. Took me about 5 hours to put together. It's literally shake and bake. The really cool part is that the rack that it's sitting on is made from one of the screws. So once you take all your pieces off, you cut the screw apart and make the actual trolley that it rides on. The figures were mediocre. They're not that well cast, but the ship itself just flops together. It takes no time and very little cleanup. So there you go. Looks great. Next, here we go. The home audience.
Yeah. Testing. Yeah, two cars I brought in. The blue one is a work in progress. It's a AMT 65 Chevelle stock car kit. Riding on a AMT, I think 90 Lumina stock car chassis. Tamiya blue paint. Like I say, it's still work in progress. I'm trying to copy a stock car from my youth. The red car is a Revel 69 Camaro, also Tamiya paint. It's a car I had right after I got married. So that's about it. I had 4 cars at one time. Okay.
There he is.
Peterbilt.
Yeah. Well, the work is continuing on the AMT Peterbilt 352 semi truck. I lengthened the chassis by a scale of 6.5 feet and then printed up wheels and tires, fenders, fender mounts, fuel tanks, all kinds of little bits and pieces. Universals for the drive shaft because I had to extend that for the after lengthening the chassis. And then I also have on the little piece of card there is the oil pan and the valve covers for the engine of that thing that I've painted with the new A&K Super Chrome. And you can have a look at that after, and it's fantastic stuff. It's the closest that I've ever seen of a chrome paint actually looking like chrome. So all the parts that are chrome in this kit are going to be de-chromed and then painted with the A&K Super Chrome. And then the little blue piece of plastic next to it is the that's Canadian Tire Duplicolor Sonic Blue Pearl that I'm going to paint the whole truck with. And I've got the little 3D printed tail lights. They're still on their supports. And then there's one that I tried painting up sitting on that piece of card there as well, just to see what it looks like when they're finished. The chrome kind of rubbed off of there from me handling it, but the ones that I will install in the truck will be nice chrome bezels on them. And I'm going to extend the front bumper down to what the mud flap height would be, and also extend the sides of the cab down to match the height of the bottom of the rear fenders. So that's about it for that right now.
Thanks, Mark. Okay. Next is Michael P. Hill. This is for the, that's if you want to.
That's to me a 148 British chili that I'm working on for a ongoing project for this time moving into Italy for a winery. And my theme is in the back of that's going to be a couple of cases of wine out in the roadways, British Scout car, and the guys on the radio calling ahead, "Sir, we have your wine." And off they go. And that's my finished French village liberation, if you want to call it the village at that stage, with the Airfix 76 scale tank, and in the foreground is a burnt out mom and pop operation type store, and in the background would be some sort of more substantial brick building, bank, some sort of store like that, demolished. And that was a wonderful learning experience courtesy of Ron's School of Diorama Making. One of my biggest stumbling blocks was, do you have a backside view? On the interior, I reached a point where I thought I had enough debris in there, and Ron gently coaxed and explained to me how it would improve it if you put more in there. So the backside is loaded with some broken wood and more bricks and shingles. I made some shingles, and there's not a lot of them, but they're scattered around there too. Well, I said, a great learning experience, and I think it looks pretty darn good.
Just a 148th old monogram kit I picked up at one of the shows for $20. And again, just learning new techniques, painting and all that. And then unfortunately, when you take a look at the aft section of the canopy cracked on me. So yeah, it's a hairline crack. But other than that, I think it turned out pretty good. And yeah, that's all. Bird strike, yeah.
Not really my idea. I was copying something offline. Basically, it's a guide for cutting styrene and other materials in a straight cut. It's a piece of old scrap wood from a headboard and a piece of aluminum angle. I just have it bolted down on a cutting pad and a couple of wing nuts. You put the material under it and to where you want it and clamp it down, and that way when you're pulling hard on your utility knife, it's not moving on you, so it makes a nice clean cut. Thank you.
This is the Hasegawa 172nd scale E2C Hawkeye in Japanese markings. Very nice kit to build. I'm not used to building 172nd scale, so my fingers sometimes had difficulty with some of the smaller parts, but overall, enjoyable build. It finished in Mr. Color. That's about it in terms of the kit. Highly recommended. This is also mine. This is the ICM 148 scale AH-1G Cobra, attack helicopter. It is done in the markings of Thor's hammer in Vietnam. Again, a very nice kit, nicely detailed. Engineering is quite good. The canopy is a little fiddly if you want to open the canopy panels, but other than that, it went together really well. That was going to be my 1-year build until we changed the rules. And I was going to be late anyway, so it doesn't really matter. These are 2 submarines that I built at the latter part of 2024. The smaller one is a kilo class. It's 1/350th scale. It's the Bronco kit. Bronco does some fairly nice submarines. There's an aftermarket propeller on it because the kit one was too small. And then the larger one is the Dragon USS Ohio, which is a nuclear powered ballistic missile submarine. Same scale. Yeah. So the Ohio, I think, is just under 700 feet in length. So, and the kilo, I can't remember what the length of it is. Less than 700.
All right. So that's a Pulky 1, which is the first jet plane design in South America and the 8th jet plane design in the world by the Argentinian Air Force. The pilot is the pilot who flew the plane. It was a test pilot, most famous test pilot of the Argentinian Air Force, who also then this plane flew in 47. And this guy then went to the UK and worked with the Havilland. And the kit is actually a 3D printed model that doesn't have wheels or canopy or cockpit or nothing. And Bloppy printed it for me. It's only 2 wings and 5 segments for the fuselage. And I scratch build the cockpit, the seat, and the pitot tube come from the Airfix P40. The landing gear, by chance, I had a spare one in the spare box, which belonged to a Mirage 3. It was exactly the same dimensions for the wheels and stuff like that. Well, there are lots of things that I did to make it happen. Anthony here made canopies for me and the windshield and everything. And it's going to be in Modeling Madness in the next couple of weeks or so with all the details of how I build it, but it took me roughly 4 to 5 months to build it.
Next.
That is an Edward P51D Mustang. It's the first one I've tried of theirs. Out of the box, basically, I added brake lines to it, kit decals, and it was my first use of the Mr. Color Super Metallics for the natural metal finish. So I was kind of happy how they work. So I will definitely use them again. I did paint and decal this model with the wings not attached to the fuselage. Made it easier for painting, and it fits that well that there was just one small seam that I had to deal with on the nose area. So another Edward kit that fits quite well.
One, two. Yeah. Okay. This is my attempt to copy George Ray. Last fall, Frank managed to connive 2 free kits from IBG Manufacturing in Poland. Is that Poland?
Polish, yeah.
Polish, yeah. Anyway, this is a Polish plane, so it kind of figures. Anyway, well, see, I was close. It's like Poles. There you go. There you go. See, all corrected. Anyway, I didn't want to build it, but Frank forced George and me to build one each and then do a review for IPMS Canada. George got his review published. Mine will not be published by the sounds of it. No, actually, I spent most of the review slagging George's build, and I thought that wouldn't get it published because it seemed like it was a different than his review. It's not as classy as you think. Anyway, it may get published, it may not, depends. I may have to spice it up a little bit more. In any event, it's a 1/72nd scale IAR 80, I think it is, and it's a really nice kit. If you want to build it, it's a nice kit. George went all ape about it in his review, and he loved it. It's finicky. It's a bit trickier than you might think, and I screwed it up by trying to put an antenna wire on it that's out of scale, and then I tried to put little conductors, non-conductors on the line made out of white glue, and they're way out of scale. So I'm going to tear all that off and redo it again. But I just figured I'd bring it in so I can get it out of the way and I can stick it in the back of the cabinet somewhere. Anyway, that was my attempt to dethrone George Ray from the 1/72nd scale club, but it failed miserably. And now Kerry is now in charge of doing that because he's obviously so good at it. Anyway, that's me.
Right. You. Speaking of devil.
Yeah, that'll tear the wings right off of Ravel 1/72nd kit of failure. Most of them just ended up being prototypes or different, but at the end of the day, they didn't adopt the airplane. It had bad flying characteristics and lots of crash landings. This particular one was tested in Russia on the Eastern Front. So I thought, well, I'll use a little poetic license and figured if it was in Russia, it might have had a winter camo on it. So I did the whole plane in the standard Luftwaffe splinter pattern and then painted it white and then used various techniques to scrub off the white to give it that worn appearance. Other than that, it's right out of the box. The kit decals are right out of the box. For an old kit, the canopy was surprisingly clear, so you get a good view inside the cockpit as well. Usually kits this old, the clear plastic is really thick or foggy, but this was surprisingly clear for an old kit. It was a good build, a unique Luftwaffe bomber.
Thank you, George. Shame about the photography. Who did the kit? This one you want.
All right. This is Tamaya's new tool, 1/35th scale Kettenrad, which those of you who don't know is a German combination motorcycle half track. It's basically a complete redo of the kit they did back in 1974. It's really delightful. Got Lincoln length tracks and individual track pads. Fortunately, they have a pretty nice way of installing them so it doesn't like completely drive you back. It came with 4 wonderful figures, which I have not done yet, but they will be.
Sir? Who brought the pro? Is that you, George? Anything to prove?
I just brought this in for fun. I'm sure a lot of people have something like this, but I got this at Amazon as a gift for Christmas relative. It's a little tin box, and it's got a couple of dozen of these metal rods with alligator clips with little rubber ends on them and magnetic bases. So you just put in your small parts, spray paint, then you just put them on the base in between coats. Because the magnetic bases, they stand up, they don't fall over. So I know there's a lot of stuff like this out there, and I'm sure many of you are using them. But I brought this in because I thought it was sort of unique. I've never had anything like this, and I really liked it.
That's good. All right. Well, thank you, and thanks, George, because this is kind of what we're talking about tonight anyway. This is, these Devin did it. You were napping. Yeah, that bit of a stroke. All right, we're going to take a 15-20 minute biological, buy your raffle ticket break. And about 10:02, we'll start with our discussion for this evening. So, unfortunately, the general store downstairs. Yeah, there's some, if you need refreshments, there's some soda machines just around the corner here. But other than that, go see our illustrious treasurer for your 50/50 tickets. And come take a look at our builds and chit chat and social time, and then we'll have our discussion. It's really for the two or three guys. Yeah, quiet, right? So we'll talk to Mr. Dawson.
Ghost Rider. Actually, I like Nicolas Cage. I've seen a lot of his movies, and I thought his Ghost Rider was really well in the first one. The second movie was crap. But I bought both because I liked Ghost Rider. Yeah, okay. Second movie was just bad. Well, they're pretty straightforward. There's only what's on card. Don't worry about it. The trick is assembling them. I think most of them are where they top and bottom. Yeah. And so if you get them on the line, breaking the interior. I have an idea to you. Or how they compare. Yeah. To something else. Imagine all the crew on that too, right? Like, well, I started thinking about it. Yeah. It's not. There's something. Maybe I can't remember the title. Just I either dropped on Netflix or Amazon Prime. It's a submarine film. But at the start, they're picking up a special forces team that are on land, and they gotta jump in the water and they're swimming with the stuff, and they're gonna come in through the torpedo tubes. It's pretty cool. I didn't know that they did extractions like that. What was their nice build? Yeah, they're really nice. I've heard things. I want to get out of the table. Okay, it's a given. It's just a given, right? Yeah, it's a given. But here, that's something really. I've always been into stuff. Yeah. Well, I like the effect you got on the hall. Yeah, that worked out really well. I start out. Get that aside. Yeah, that's I like it over. I like the comparison too. I think just one of them. Exactly. So when I brought it before a couple months ago, it's kind of hard to gauge just how big that is. Yeah, and that's what you're on it. That's the guy that. Did you come in on Saturday? Okay. Oh, yeah. There was no way anybody was getting out last Saturday. I did 2 other driveways, including my own. And during the weekend, I was out 3 times each on each driveway. Crazy. Don't go into the loading house and kind of go, hi. How are you? How I do. Oh, you have kids? Wait. I want to talk to her about air connects as well. And operate the bed for one. Okay. Yeah, I'll follow your lead. And just sort of say, you know, the nice thing about the air connects is they're like a law. Right. So you got the map to her house and everything? Oh, I know where it is. No, Capel. No, it's Chapel. H-A-P-P-L. Yeah, but Chapel is just one key. I know. Capel is. Yeah, I know. I didn't name the dang streets in London. Exactly. I'm innocent this time. I'm always innocent.
One non-believable statement.
You're obviously a lazy monitor. The map is a big word. Like it was a scoop. I like the. But yeah, Reynolds doing well. I love it. After that one, with the. Yeah, fire falls down. Yeah, and I want to carry it all. Well, I think about. Wire on the. Yeah. Oh, I was. Yeah, so be around for another day or so. Back end of the year. Monday. But just telling you that you could be on the further massive. My neighbors, yeah, drive no track on there. No, it has kind of clouds, many clouds, yeah. But whenever they get to driveway, oh, yeah, I've seen that, the drop, they don't do it. That's great. We don't have that. We don't even have clouds that act like clouds, the road, or the. Like the side streets. I'm walking a block, bus stop on Happy. And it's like. And you have to put high hill just to get onto the side. Anyways, we have need of you. Oh, okay. They also do the later. And I couldn't, I had a quick little run around to try and find someone else to get a Diet Coke and no such. Really well done. Thank you. Yeah. Well, right now everyone's having a good time. I'm trying to get rid of that. It's having a good time. Somebody makes me an offer on it. For it to come like, let's be a president. And that's part of it. And then
I mean, a lot of times they're just, you know, like, oh, that's good. I just like the caffeine that. Well, you make a lot of the if anyone does want to get this back in German, yeah. More of
I don't, I'm sorry.
It's, I got people who love
Frank, opened offers on that. I want it gone tonight.
Only because we did the newer one. I don't have nothing just on Pirates. I'm having about 9 to 5, but it's like, time I finish, I'm not leaving here. I'm gonna time for bed.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm kind of okay today. I didn't go to work today.
Oh, lucky you.
Well, I'm walking around with a bus, 4 busted toes. Huh? Friday or Saturday morning, getting ready to go clean up the 3 driveways I did. Brenda has an old Pepsi wooden box. And I'm playing with the cat. Didn't.
You're not supposed to kick the cat.
No, I didn't kick the cat. I kicked the damn ball.
You're not supposed to.
Wasn't paying attention.
Ah, okay.
So my foot's a beautiful color of purple and brown and blue. And there was just, I had my work shoes on yesterday and stuff, and it just, I called my boss. I said, "There's no way I'm coming up today. I need to stay home. I've got 6 days. I go." So yeah. So I just hung out at home.
Should Jeff's gonna join us on Saturday. Jeff's joining us on Saturday.
Yeah, that's gonna be a good thing. I just want to get through that stuff. Get it.
Yeah, just like you want to sell it.
I think she wants to get rid of it.
Get it out of the house.
Well, she talked to her family first, if anybody wanted it. And they told her, you either get rid of it now or we're throwing it in the dumpster. So,
See what we can do.
you've got a room full of guys here that want to do it.
Yeah, I got a little bit of room. There's a couple there. I'll see. Yeah, that's.
Well, I'm gonna look at the B-52
Yeah.
and I'll probably look at the other bomber. But yeah, we get first. That's our pay. We get first. So I was quite happy with that.
So I love Canada Post. I love Canada Post. I get my AliExpress. But then they said, well, it wasn't delivered. So this mail came in like an hour ago. Okay, I picked it up at like 3 at my house. So it says, you know, your thing may be delayed. So I clicked track for updates. Yeah, it was delivered. I've got another 3 coming from AliExpress, but they're not for a while, but
Right.
like, really?
Yeah.
Great,
Yeah, you can't really count on them.
No, that's fine. All righty.
Hurry up and wait. That's what I'm doing. I got something coming for the Honda from Japan. Like, I got this empty space right in the center console, and some manufacturer in Japan has developed a little shelving unit.
Oh, yeah.
And it clicks into
Yeah.
USD.
I can get one for the Equinox instead of having a little really deep well and a really small little thing that slides back and forth.
Yeah.
Just a single flat plate.
Yeah.
I've seen it. Yeah, I'm half tempted to get it.
Well, it's useless the way it is. So this guy's developed this thing, so I picked it up and I kind of go, well, I ordered that the 1st of December. From China.
I think we'll get things on here. So, now I'm going to
Yeah, I think we'll be happy to get rid of the stuff.
Yeah.
Going in the hands of
Well, yeah,
people that want it.
find someone who's gonna
So,
and get it.
even though Jeff's gonna take most of it.
Yeah,
George already said he wants a couple of the ones that are on my list.
well, but so you guys are having,
This is gonna be a problem.
well, you'll have to whoever pays highest price.
And
Well,
actually, I
you
actually
take it outside, okay?
I predicted the one you really wanted. I predicted it.
Which is?
Brief, AT-177.
Yeah, of course. All right, Frank, we should get the show on the road.
Yeah, we should. I don't think we'll take very long.
No. Yes. No.
Pass
No,
one,
no,
please.
no. Take your seats, gentlemen. We're about to get started.
We'll get our show on the road for the evening.
Right, guys, break it up.
Break it up, George. You're an amazing modeler. We all know it. Go sit. Top row. So when we bandied about subjects, one of the things that we've talked about, like I've talked on my podcast page, and we've seen it. We've been asked this. So we talked about tools, tips, techniques, what works for you. We got so much stuff coming out now. The market is like literally saturated with products and things. Like I love the fact that George brought, the magnetic clip stand. I bought a bunch at Tokyo, Neo Tokyo. They're a little
I'm going to
clips.
interrupt you for 1 second. Tony, can you see the PowerPoint?
No, I can't. Oh, yes, I can on the wall, you mean?
No, but not on your screen. You should see it on your screen. Hang on.
Right.
He's going to share his screen and then.
You have to give me permission.
Oh, there you go.
Can't break. Put it on. Rivet. There you go, Tony.
Thank you, Frank.
You're welcome, sir.
Okay.
Such a disappointment. So when we talk about, I just threw this up just before the meeting, just to give some idea what I'm talking about. Right? Like, for example, washes. Washes are something that we didn't really have a lot of, 10, 15 years ago. Everyone made their own, how they did it. Now, just to show you as an example, like we have water-based washes, Vallejo. I use their Vallejo. They now have a whole new line for game color, and they've got their little bottles, right? So the magic of Spanish tap water mixed with whatever voodoo they do. Water-based. We've got our list of enamels. Humbrol's got washes, AK, MIG, game colors, and what did we use in the past? Mr. Levingston, right? In the past, right, we used oil paints. I threw some gouache up there because this is the new thing, at least with the armor guys, because a modeler named Adam Wilder, if any of you've heard of him, Adam Wilder decided to use gouache paint. And lo and behold, right, or gouache, AK comes out with their line. probably twice the cost of what you get at Michael's, but for me, one thing I like with these products that are geared towards us is we get colors that we don't have to mix anymore. Like I love Starship Filth, which comes from the AK guys. Starship Filth is this odd kind of, I don't know, it just looks like duck. They've got a light one and a dark one. And it's just that right color just really does make things look dirty, right? It's undescribable, undefinable schmutz. I bought gouache paints mostly because I didn't read the label. I thought I bought oil paint, but they work great. I think one thing I like now with what we've got with my technique that I like to use is the fact that we've got all these different products that come in different mediums. When I use one, it doesn't muck up the layer underneath. Like I know we can paint, and then like for armor, because that's what I do predominantly, paint, I clear coat, and then I'll do a pin wash, and then I might do an actual complete wash with the pin wash, kind of take it plate by ear, but then, seal it, do another wash, seal it. I read about guys that do 3, 4, 5 seals while they're doing different layers. What I like is by using, the oil colors for one, and then the gouaches for others. They don't interfere with each other, which is kind of nice. So you can build up your layers, go back and forth. Right? I'm a big fan of the AK pencils, which I go over oils all the time because they're water-based. They don't interfere, so you can get depth to whatever effect you're trying to do. When we look at modulation kits now another big trend is these hyper-modulated kits. I know the Warhammer guys, for those of you that ever look at pictures of the guys doing the Warhammer figures, there's a lot of that going on. They're all glowing now. They have glowing weapons and glowing bullet points and stuff like that. So that's being done now. So the paints, that's why Vallejo has a lot more of these, what they call their game color paints now to come out, right? Nice vivid colors we wouldn't normally use, but they do let us do certain effects. It's pretty cool to see. And it's like pigments. Big pigment fan, was Ron. We're pigment fans. I mean, you can buy whole kits of basic dirt. I just threw up like the Vallejo line. I got a bunch of Vallejo stuff they got finally run. The Tamiya makeup kits, I don't know what you call them. I mean, they're basically just blush for boys, right? As a matter of fact, the railroad guys have really large, I can't remember the brand, if anyone does railroad, you may recall, but they're coming out with really large discs of shades of blush with applicators for doing on locomotives and on rolling stock, stuff like that. Some really cool colors. Again, I've known a couple people, surprised Cam hasn't done it yet, gone to the dollar store and bought a blush set to get those earth tones, pigment stuff up. I had a buddy used to do cars by going to the discount bin for nail polish at Shoppers Drug Mart, and he'd find a color he liked, 2 or 3 bottles, boom, that's my next, custom car paint job. How he looked at it. Enamel paint, enamel's enamel, they all work. We used to buy pigments in little jars like we see at the bottom here, but now they're mix our own. I still do this, right? I've got my Faber-Castells at home. I've got a little grater and grind up. Who still grinds up their own pigments still, right? Yeah. So there's stuff out there that makes our life easier. And some of us are good at using these tools, right? And Will was telling us some of this stuff we wanted to know about was, what are we using, like glues? Who's using what for glue? To me, a thin was the magic, but now everybody and their uncles, daughters, cousins, kids got a brand, right? MIG, AK, Humbrol, Revell with their Contacta. And by the way, what is Contacta? Does anyone know what Contacta is? I'm asking for a friend. Somebody glued something, you can't get Contacta. He flooded the Contacta with more Contacta like we do with Tamiya. And guess what? Don't do that. Strong tip. Stuff that's working. I bought a bottle of the Mr. Hobby black paint there. They're quick paint. I don't care. You gave us one that we raffled off 2 months ago. I like using it on lighter colored kits because I can see where it follows the capillary action. I can see the capillary action. So it's a nice visual cue for me. I also got into, because I was in the States, I bought some VMS black CA glue, which is a little bit like the Bob Smith Industries tire black. So it's got a bit of a give to it, even when it sets. The VMS, what they call their 5-minute black, has or 5 seconds, sorry, has give to it. So when you're doing photo etch and stuff like that, one of the big concerns with super glues is that it doesn't have good shear strength, so you can still knock it apart. But I like the VMS because it's got a bit of give to it, so I don't break as many kits. And actually, I started using Micro Mark's. Oh my God, the name escapes me, but they've got a tape, a liquid tape, they call it. It's basically a reformulated PVA glue, which gets really tacky after you set it for about a minute. It gets tacky, and then I use it for photo etch now, and it keeps the photo etch really nice and tight. But if something happens, I can still peel off the photo etch. I had that with my half track that I brought a couple months ago. If anyone remembers, I had my little German half track, the SDKF 7, and I had to take the grill back off because it wasn't super glued. I used this Micro Mark or Micro Mask liquid tape. It came off, and then I could just reapply it. Cleans off with a little bit of water, really. You know, another cool thing that I didn't think of, I used it because I got some free style. Let's see if this works. So, you know, I don't want to lead the conversation for the entire night, but just to see what, you know, what are we using? What are we using for glue or resin? You know, I love George brought in his magnetic clips. I've seen them online. I thought of it. I got my hand on a bunch of the Bandai ones that Pete sells at Neo Tokyo, and then I bought a cat scratcher for $1.50, which is basically strips of cardboard on its edge for your cat to sharpen its nails on. Paid $1.50, and all my pegs go in there. And for Neo, what's nice is they've got 2 sizes split, and George's are protected. He's got that rubber tip on them. The ones that Bandai makes, they're like a soft pressure. Benzie, sorry, but they've got a soft grip, which is nice. They don't pinch as hard as like the old alligator clips I've got from electronics stores. So I'm really pleased using those and save some money. Literally, cat scratch pad for $1.50, $2 at the dollar store. So, you know, I love the fact that Ron brought those ridiculously small lights to show us how induction works and how, you know, you can take your kids to that next level if you want to illuminate them, which is fantastic. But what about the rest, right? We're always looking for ideas. We talk about it, but anyone got something new that they like, something that they've seen, something that they've tried out that really works? Duncan? No, but we want them to hear you. Because, you know, it's big news in Australia.
Future. And you let the future dry. So you have lots of time to move your photo, especially when you put pieces on top of each other. It allows you to set it up, let the future dry, and then you can go back and touch it with super glue to lock it into place afterwards. And to your point, if you mess it up, just a little ammonia and away comes the future, right? But I always hated gluing photo etch with super glue because it was like, you know, you practice 3 times and you hit the mark, and then you put the glue on it and you miss, right? Every time it seems to happen. Yeah, but if you use future, you can push it around and float it to where you want. You have to wait a little while to let it dry, but the advantage is if you want to make sure that piece of photo etch is dead center or kitty corner, wherever, the future gives you that opportunity.
Only problem is, who makes future?
It's called clear. You can still buy it. Yes. So yes, it's still available in a variety of forms. Good. But yeah, it does make it a lot easier.
Armstrong floor polish from Mike. Yeah.
So on the same topic as the photo etch, another thing I discovered is using the Tamiya extra thin. So, and I've done this on several projects and it's worked out great. it might not work if you're doing multiple photo etch parts, but if you have a photo etch, I had these little, they're called minus molds. They're little like bolt details essentially. The the surface of the plastic kit just had a little kind of indent, so it's kind of lacking detail. So you can get various size of photo etch kind of detail parts. So you set them in and you just touch the Tamiya extra thin like you would doing plastic, and it kind of just melts enough that it grabs onto the piece. So it was very clean. Um, it doesn't give you a lot of options for you, like if you want to pop it out, you can, but obviously the glue melts a plastic bit. But if you have a part that you're just setting in, you kind of set it up and just touch the edge and flow it in. I did that. I've done that multiple times with very good success. So it's an alternative depending on kind of what you're doing. So another trick in the toolbox.
Yeah. So in future, Tamiya, is it the extra thin or the hot stuff that? Yeah. Yeah. Cool.
I positioned the part
Just keep talking.
with the super thin, but then let that sit for a minute and then hit it with thin CA. And that, yeah, and then like there might be any little gap that's behind that part that's not melted from the regular glue, or the CA will go in there and grab onto it. So I've had good luck with that. Just position the part first with the thin, leave it sit, for a good hour, then go in and hit it with the CA.
Yeah, that's good. I use when I use super thin, like the really thin CA glue, like I know some companies sell eyelets. I make my own. I don't know if anyone else does that. I just take some copper wire, wrap it around the tip of a Q-tip, and I got my little loop. I make multiple sizes, and then I just use that. I use basically those fill lids. I put my super thin in there, and then I use that little homemade eyelet, right? And then once it gets clogged up, you just take a match, burn it, and she's as good as new over again. So
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, if anyone who does photo etch, like I've started to solder, I'm trying soldering photo etch. That's a whole different experience. It's coming along pretty good. But that's, I do like doing that. But the future I like is idea. Like I said, the liquid tape, when I found that out, that stuff was great. It's cheap. It's a little bottle. It's basically just some form of chemical bonder in a PDA that really helps it to stay tacky. It's from one of the hobby stores. Yeah, Microsol, Micromark. It's Microset. It's the same brand. It's whatever that company is. They make it. So anyone who sells Microsol or Microset can get it. It's called liquid tape. I like that, and that's photo etch, which is the bane of a lot of us. I know it's annoying sometimes, but you're right. Right when you get it set, you're like perfect, and then you try to clean it up, and it unglues, and then you get angry, take your pets, stuff like that. Force the wife. Oh, the old mic's for Tony. Did you hear all that, Tony?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, it's good.
Yeah, look at him. Good man. So that's an example of PVA glue. And like I said, we can't get VMS products unless you order them or you go down to like Michigan Toy Soldier. But I'm experimenting. Has anyone used the BSI higher glue, black stuff? You've used it? And yeah. It's still, it's got give. Yeah. Yeah. But does it have give? Do you find it has give in it? Yeah. Okay. Because the VMS glue, which is called a Flexi 5, it has a bit of flex to it. Yeah. Yeah. It it sucks when something good comes on the market and then it's gone, right? Yeah. Like to be a rattle cans.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you know, one thing I talked about earlier, I saw you wrong, give me a sec, is like, I like these enamel washes from Ammo or from AK until I started using them. And I don't know if anyone else has used these, but well, not just that, they dry up in no time. Like, I don't know if you've seen, but there's been post after post, especially the MIG stuff. Basically, you crack it open and it's garbage. I won at AMPS Nationals, I won 2 containers, brand new, of MIG's texture compound. So it's basically goop with sand in it, so it looks like sand and it's a nice color. I opened them, brand new, and they were both rock hard. Yeah, and so, you know, buyer beware with the enamel washes, because I'm finding that those a lot of guys on social media are posting that they dry out fast. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, date night. Sorry, go ahead and start that up again.
Home Alone. So I, on occasion, and I got this from work, I'll put a little bit of Vaseline around the threads, but you have to be really careful that none of that gets into your product or on your brush. So, but I don't know, we're all neat and tidy people who can work with small, but I've tried that. I keep a little thing of Vaseline to seal up, and I've had better luck keeping like glues that dry up, especially in the metal tins, and like the putties that you open them up and they're rock hard the next day. So I will just gently and very carefully put it around the threads, and that's saved some of the product life. So
I've tried. And the fact that only you said something says a lot, Jeff. I've seen some guys posting recently that they've been I've tried the baggies, like just trying to use Ziploc bags, but a couple guys I've seen use vacuum seal. It's the old, well, I borrowed my wife's food saver and they're vacuum sealing their products if they're, you know, if I'm not going to model for a month or two, you know, going to the house in Cuba or whatever. But they're saying vacuum sealing to try to keep it. It seems to me a lot when you're spending, you know, I mean, we're spending good money on these products, and then basically after you open them a couple of weeks later, they're crap, which is unfortunate. But I've noticed that with the enamels. I will say though that the water-based ones, these ones here, I'm not endorsing. I don't get any paid remuneration, but I find the Vallejo, or as the Brits call them, Vallejo, washes last forever. They dilute well with water. I do find them a little heavy, but they're easy to clean up, and they don't spoil. So and even their metallics. If anyone's ever used Vallejo's metallics at all, I use a burnt steel, and that little bottle's been doing me for about 7 years. Anyway, what's that? Sorry. Yeah. Fluorine. Okay. Flurry wash. Okay. Yeah. So Devin likes Flurry wash. Yeah, the Citadel washes are nice, but yeah. Citadel, who uses, well, I know Ron will decant. So if any of you use Citadel paint, Ron decants his immediately upon purchase. So I don't know if you have that. I know, Mike, you use a lot of Citadel paints, but he decants his right away because the Citadel cups are crap. Right. I lost 2 lead. Like lead belcher is one of my favorite colors that Citadel does. If you're ever looking for like a metallic, like if you're doing track edges and stuff like that, Citadel lead belcher is fantastic, and it applies really well, thins well with water and stuff. It's great paint, but the cup dries out like in no time. So Ron actually spent about an hour in a Discord room lecturing everyone on how to properly take care of your Citadel paint so you get every last penny out of them, which was great because you get those little bottles from Amazon, and then you Ron. Yeah.
The guy dropped the ball. I think it was like $8, got 50 up.
Yeah.
That's with, with everything, the little nozzle, the cap.
Yeah.
And everything. And when you take the label off the Citadel bottle, it's still got all the adhesive on it. It doesn't stick on the
plastic, right? Yeah.
jar that the Citadel paint in. And you can put it right off to the eyedropper ball. And a couple of ball bearings in there to go into the paint shaker. Boom.
Yeah.
And then you don't have to go like flipping that thing off, putting them all dry out over.
Yeah, the Citadel, like the washes are great. I got about 8 of them. Null oil is the most popular one. Yeah. Yeah, that I like that one. The Acrax Earth Shade there. What's that? Yeah, I bought inks. I've been trying with inks. The AK inks seem to be okay, but I bought Liquitex inks, and if you're looking at doing like an opaque shade over, I find the Liquitex inks are really good.
That A&P super strong is actually an ink. When I did that, I also bought the bottle of thinner cleaner, but that ended up being about $50. Compared to the spray can test, lose 2/3 of the can and overspray.
Yeah.
Just the airbrush is beautiful.
Well,
And I tried thinning it first, right? Thought I would have to, but no, I put it in straight. Airbrush those bits there, and
well, Duncan talked about using the Mr. Color metallics. I'm using them too. I brush paint with them, like for small details and stuff. I love them. The only problem is once you open them, they do tend to evaporate pretty quick. Like, Pete was like, you're going to have to buy another bottle. Yeah.
take care of your
But that's another search, right? A lot of the guys that like to do the bare metal planes, I see those discussion posts all the time. Am I going to use Alclad, Mr. And then you want different shades because you want to do that look. So multiple products, what's a good, I know a lot of people have been talking about that AK Chrome, been really popular. I'm getting to the car, but I'm trying a tip, which I saw, I picked up that black that Mr. Hobby does. That's really black. I keep thinking it's urea black, which makes it sound like it comes from your bladder, but it starts with a U. It's Uthia black. Okay? Uno black. Oh, there you go. And then using the Mr. Metallic Super Chrome to the top. I want to see how that looks. That's another challenge we have, right? I hear guys that want to do chrome. What do I use? Alclad isn't always available.
Put that over prime. Try it again. Yeah.
Yeah. I've seen some photos like spoon tests. Some guys, I think that's all they do is paint spoon. So, hey, anyway, that's another story. And this is what I'm talking about, right? Like, we tease, but Anthony's idea of like putting some Vaseline around the threading to save your bottles. What you've done on the wash, right? Yeah. Yeah. just because they make a good putty doesn't mean they put a good money into the container that it's the vessel that it's coming to you from, right? So, and then, right, who puts their super glue in the fridge? Yeah, like 3 people, right? Like, I mean, did you all know, keep your super glue in the fridge, it'll last longer? There you go. There you go, George. See, another good tip. Duncan, appreciate that with the stirring. That makes absolute sense. I ended up getting some. I bought an airbrush from when I was at a show, and I got these ball bearing the beads there for like the BBs, but they now come with the little lip on them because everyone's going to those squeeze squeeze bottles like you can see for the game color. And if you use a BB for mixing, right, throwing your paint, it gets caught in the tip and it can crack and break. But yeah, but these things are bigger, so it doesn't get into the tip of your squeeze bottle. Yeah, I know. First world problems. Third world solutions. Okay. Yeah, hex nuts, right? Yeah, so save money by buying little hex bolts, right? Or nuts. Yep. Yeah, not copper like I did with my BB. Those great things to your thing. Right. So what's that? Oh, yeah. You know what? We'll do the 50-50 draw. It's 8:30. Great conversation. We can keep it going, but for now it's 8:30. This is usually when we start tying things up. So Jeff, do you want to draw? Yeah, make him an offer. Yeah. Cash, small animals, sexual favors, anything. That's right.
Yes, where's it? Look longer. 243-360.
36. Winning number.
Is that you?
That doesn't help us. Who's after 360?
Oh, okay. I thought the word it's me. All right. Somebody else draw. No, no. Keep it back in. Do it again. I'm a lawyer.
That's right.
Right. I'm moving. You get stuff like
Exactly.
323, 243, 323.
323, Kevin. You could win a motorcycle.
You want to win a motorcycle?
Or the Bobcat drinking vessel. There you go. Congratulations.
Thank you, sir.
There you go. Right.
So like the one thing I always like about like the engagement, whether it's online or not, is, we're a community. What are we doing? What are we doing different? What are you doing that's working for you? The tips and stuff. If anyone's got a technique they're using that they like,
Get rid of that.
What seems? We don't have that problem. So putty.
Yeah, well, what kind? I've been watching pictures, water based.
I hear perfect plastic putty is very good. You use perfect plastic.
Use it.
I use Milliput. I use Tamiya. I use their white and their gray. I like the gray better.
Older man, blade,
I have that. I've
Yeah.
been using that, but I was just wondering what else there is.
That's the go-to one.
Especially on the really tough spots where you can't get daily one. I hear the wing.
You can also do, you go with stretch through if you want. Yeah. Before I forget, we had one more new member. Where is, what's the name again? Robert? Robert? We didn't introduce you. Welcome. Your name is?
Robert.
And what do you model, Robert?
Yes.
What do you make?
World War II planes, mostly 148, but sometimes 172nd.
You'll descend to the lower levels. Yeah, right on. Oh, welcome to the club. I hope you'll come back and join us again. Thanks for coming.
Robert, I'm Duncan.
Nice to meet you, Duncan.
Yeah, that's the Mr. Metallic color.
We'll call it a night. Gentlemen online, it was a privilege and a pleasure to spend some quality time with you once again.
Enjoyed it. Thank you.
All right. Take care, Tony. Have a good night.
Same to you all.
Yeah, there's